I'll never forget the day I saw her trapped in that six-figure Bentley, like a queen stuck in her own throne. It was a Tuesday morning, cold and bright in downtown Chicago. I was just driving my little girl to school in my beat-up '94 pickup when traffic suddenly stopped dead. Horns blared, folks were yelling, and right there in the middle of the mess was this silver car, dead silent, like a luxury coffin on wheels. And inside, a woman who looked like she hadn't cried in a decade, but was about 2 seconds from breaking. Now I didn't know who she was yet. Not then. To me, she was just some fancy lady in a plus $300 000 car, staring out the window, while a crowd of reporters circled like vultures. But my daughter Ellie, she looked at me with those big eyes and whispered, "Daddy, that lady looks scared." And that's all it took. I pulled over. When I stepped out, her security detail moved fast. Big guys in suits thinking I was trouble. One of them shoved a hand into my chest. "Back off, pal. No civilians." I didn't argue, just looked him in the eye and said, "I can fix it." They laughed. One of them cracked, "Yeah, you got an MIT degree in that flannel." But then this ice blonde woman in a designer blazer, rolled down the window just an inch and said, "Let him try." I slid under the car. Took me less than a minute to see what was wrong. A full system lock. Just like what we used to see on military vehicles during electronic warfare. I bypassed it old school, using nothing but my hands and memory. The engine roared back to life like nothing had ever happened. She stepped out stunned, pulled out a wad of hundreds. I wiped my hands on my jeans and said, "Keep it. Just get somewhere safe." I didn't expect anything more from it. Just another day, another engine, another stranger. But later that night my phone rang, and her voice, controlled clipped, said, "Mr. Walker, this is Kendall Fordham." That's when I realized who she was. CEO of Fordham Motors. Richer than God, and apparently in desperate need of someone who knew what the hell they were doing. She offered $5,000 for one day's work just to look over her company's latest prototype. I wanted to say no, but Ellie needed winter boots and I was 2 months behind on rent, so I said yes. When I showed up, you should have seen the looks I got. Me in my oil-stained shirt walking through their glass tower like a ghost from the wrong side of the river. The engineers, all smirks and whispers. One even joked, maybe he'll hit it with a wrench. But Kendall didn't laugh. She watched, quietly, carefully. And when I pulled a nearly invisible cracked wire from under the hood, a defect her entire team had missed, she looked at me like she'd seen a ghost. "You just saved us a recall," she said, handing me a check for $20,000. I handed it back. We agreed on 5. Now here's the twist most people don't see coming. She didn't get mad. She didn't double down. She just smiled. The kind of smile that don't come easy to people like her. That same week she came to my garage, dressed like she was walking into a board meeting, standing under my flickering fluorescent lights while Ellie did homework at a table made from an old door. "You're the scared lady from the street," Ellie said. Kendall froze like the words knocked the wind out of her, and all she said was, "Yeah, that was me." After that, she kept coming by, always claiming her car needed something. But it wasn't about the engine. It was about the space, the quiet, the way Ellie would hand her a crayon and say, "Help me with this." She told me about her father, how he built the company, how she buried him and never looked back. She carried the whole empire on her back, trying to prove she wasn't just some rich girl in high heels. And I saw her differently. Not as some untouchable billionaire, but as a woman drowning in expectations. Then came the real blow. Her company got hacked. All their smart cars went haywire, locking people in, shutting down highways, costing millions in one morning. The board turned on her. The media smelled blood. She came to me at midnight, soaked from the rain, mascara streaking her face. "They're going to take my company," she whispered. I didn't say much, just pulled her into a hug and said I can fix it. And we did. Together. I found the breach, some sneaky little device sending data to one of her competitors' shell companies. A guy named Maxon Gray Sleaze in a $1,000 suit. Always wanted her company. Now he'd gone too far. We set a trap. She wore a wire. Confronted him at some fancy gala while I stood nearby in a rented tux that felt like a joke. Maxon, arrogant as ever, spilled everything, called it just business. Said she should be grateful for the offer before someone chooses for her. When he walked away, Kendall turned to me and said, "We got him." But Maxon wasn't done. As we stepped outside, a black van pulled up. Men jumped out, masks, bats, tasers. I don't remember all of it, just the sound of Kendall screaming and the taste of blood in my mouth as I hit the pavement trying to protect her. Woke up in a hospital bed 2 days later. Broken ribs, stitches. Ellie curled up beside me with a book in her lap. Kendall sat nearby looking like she hadn't slept in days. "You didn't have to fight them," she said. "Yeah," I grunted. "I did. Because somewhere along the way, this had become more than a rescue. It was a redemption for both of us." Kendall cleared her name, kept the company, and took a step back from the corner office. Said she was tired of building empires if it meant being alone at the top. She invested in the garage not to buy it, but to build with us. Taught single parents how to run businesses. Ellie started calling her Lexi. And one Christmas Eve, as snow fell outside our window, she looked at me and said, "I'm scared." Of what I asked? Of this? Of you? Of needing something again? I took her hand, greasy and all, and said, "Yeah, me too." Now we didn't have some fairy tale ending. Life kept throwing curveballs. Her mother tried to intervene. Ellie's grandparents tried to take her. Headlines tried to rip us apart. But Ellie, that girl, stood in court at just 8 years old and said, "My daddy fixes cars. Miss Lexi fixes people. We fix each other." And somehow, that was enough. We didn't marry right away. Didn't need to. But we made it official in the best way. We adopted Ellie together. Made it legal. Made it known. We were a family forged in fire grease and unconditional love. So next time someone tells you a mechanic and a billionaire can't belong in the same story, tell them to come visit our garage. We're living proof that some things can't be bought, only built. And broken people, well, sometimes they fix each other. Now let me ask you, asterisk. Have you ever been underestimated, judged for where you come from or what you wear? Have you ever proved someone wrong just by being yourself? Asterisk. Drop your story in the comments. I'm listening. And if you believe that love, loyalty, and doing the right thing still matter in this world, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories that remind us some things, the most important things, can't be bought, only earned.